Hello friends. It's been a while since we last talked. It's maybe even been 6 or 7 months. I'm learning that updating YouTube regularly is a really hard job. Of the two topics that I normally mention today, I'm going to talk about, what do you think, hair or tattoos? Hair. I'm going to talk about hair. So, specifically, and I know this is kind of cliche in the lock community, but I'm going to talk about all of the mistakes that I've made with my locks. And believe you me, I've made quite a few. As a matter of fact, I wrote them all down in this here notebook. The first is parts. Okay, so parts are objectively the most important part of your lock journey. You can have square parts, you could have staggered square parts, kind of like bricks. You know how bricks have like 2 here and then there's 1 in the middle to kind of like stagger, and you can have triangles, you could have circles, you can freeform, you won't have parts at all. But believe me, once your hair starts to lock and whatever parts you have it in, you're not going to want to start that journey all over again. Lock journeys are way too long and require way too much patience for you to get some parts in your head and be like, actually I don't like these, and then have to start over 6 or 7 months into your journey. That's a lot of work. When I first got my locks done, I went to some old lady who was very sweet, but I'm not convinced she knew what she was doing. Like, for example, the difference between my skinniest lock and my thickest lock would be like the difference between the circumference of my pinky versus my thumb. Like, it's a pretty big difference. 0 out of 10, don't recommend. Number 2, retwisting too often. I know what you're thinking. My hair's fuzzy. And to all of that, all I have to say is, shut up, brain. You don't know everything. When I first started my locks, it took me a really long time to get used to all the fuzzies everywhere all the time. And today, I can tell you I still don't love them, but I'm used to them. I used to retwist every 2 weeks. With 6, 7 years under my belt, after a while that becomes exhausting. You don't need to retwist your hair every time you wash it. You can do things like protective styles with 2-strand twists, or you can do things like when it's time for you to go out in public and be presentable, just use a toothbrush and comb back those edges, put on a headband until it dries, and bam, you can't tell as much, and if you can, don't tell me. Don't ruin my moment. Number 3. Something I've learned over time is that you have to moisturize those ends, boo. Do you want to know how many fallen soldiers my head has had just because I didn't moisturize those ends? It's been at least 30. When I say fallen soldiers, no, I don't mean I lost my entire lock. I just mean I lost a vital part of one, and I miss it. Come back. The ends of your hair are unavoidably the oldest, and they'll probably get the raggediest, and they'll probably be the most exposed over time. Take care of your elders, or else they'll wither away. Every 3 to 4 days, I'll use my moisturizing product and just rub the ends. Kind of like, you know, like cleaning dirty paintbrushes in the sink, where you just kind of like, okay, you shouldn't actually clean your paintbrushes like this because it'll ruin them. But mainly just rub some oil on the ends of your hair every 3 to 4 days. Or don't. Everybody's hair is a little bit different, but for me, my hair is dry as fuck. Number 4. This is taboo. It's a hot take. One of the single biggest mistakes I could have ever made with my hair was bleaching it. Another hot take, there's no safe way to bleach locks. Oftentimes, there's no way to wash all of that bleach out of your hair entirely. You may let it soak in water or run it underwater for like 20, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever. There's still gonna be a little bit of residue of that bleach in your hair. You can go to the best hairstylist in the world. I still think the bleach is gonna damage your hair a little bit. The most effective way to bleach my locks is to just bleach the root as it grows out. At the roots, your hair is still a little bit loose. You can still work that dye around or work that water through and make sure everything gets out. No, the color might not be as nice or targeted as it would be if you were to bleach the entire thing and put toner and do all of those things. Because I wanted to have healthy locks, that was just a sacrifice I needed to make. Ooh, and another big mistake I made was using developer that's way, way too high for the porosity of my hair. Currently, when I bleach my hair, I only use 10 volume or 20 volume developer max, usually 10, and I'll just leave it in there for a longer period of time. I can't use a high developer in my hair and expect it to still be on my head the next day. Number 5. So I've done this once, and I was not a fan of it, and I've seen mixed reviews of it in the YouTube space, but a lot of people do apple cider vinegar rinses in their hair. And here's my opinion on that. Vinegar is extremely acidic and it dries out your hair. A lot of black hair is just dry to begin with. Our hair is dry. It's a fact. Or maybe your hair isn't dry, just my hair is dry. My hair is dry. It's a fact. But one thing I will tell you is that putting vinegar in my already dry as hair is only gonna make a bad situation worse. And I know there's always some type of guck and grossness in the water, and you're like, oh my gosh, look what came out of my head. But you know what would probably have very similar, if not identical, results? If you just soaked your hair in a bowl of water with some diluted shampoo in it. You don't really need apple cider vinegar and baking soda to get there. Number 6. I've found that I have to use shampoos that don't offer a lot of lather and conditioners that aren't super cream based in order for them to not build up in my hair and be super disgusting over time. The next one I'm going to talk about, and this is not one that I think I've done a lot, but I've seen a lot of people do a lot, and I've seen some pretty messed up results of it, and that's pulling your hair too tight. It's pretty common, and over time that can cause things that a lot of people don't want to experience, like traction alopecia. I get it. I want my hair to be laid, but I also want to keep it on my head. And for someone like me, that requires that my hair not be laid all the time. The next one I have to talk about is twisting your hair in the wrong direction. Or, for example, going from palm rolling to interlocking, or from interlocking to palm rolling. It's not a good idea. 0 out of 10, don't recommend. So the reason changing up your twisting direction or method can mess you all the way up down the road is because it basically causes bubbles or weak spots in your locks where the hair isn't locked or it's too loose, and then that can cause thinning, and then that can cause breakage. It's a no for me, honey. It's a no. I run into this issue a lot if I go get my hair done because most locticians are taught to twist clockwise, I twist counterclockwise, and when I get my hair done, unless I specify, hey, I need you to twist the opposite direction of what you're used to doing in everybody's head except for mine, then I end up with bubbles in my locks in a couple of months, and it's really just, it's not a good look. I also don't get my hair done very often because it's fucking expensive. Another huge mistake I made with my hair being in locks versus being loose is I assumed that my locked hair would be like some super saiyan, super strong hair that wasn't gonna have to deal with the issues that my loose hair had to deal with, and it was just gonna be durable. Nothing could be further from the truth. Your hair loose has the same characteristics as your hair locked. So in conclusion, be nice to your hair. All right, that's all I got for today. Please join me another time. Hit that subscribe button, or don't, but please do. Feel free to give me some suggestions on what you think I should make a video of next. I have been socially distancing myself, so I've been in my apartment for way longer than I ever planned to be. So I've got a little more time on my hands on weekends. So who knows? I might see you sooner than later, but also knowing me, it's probably gonna be later than sooner. Bye!